I'm Noah Hayes with Dross Landscape. I'm currently a project manager in the Design Build division, and this is one of my many projects that I've worked on this year. This is out here in beautiful Northport, Michigan, and I wanted to take you through a little bit of the progress we've made in just over a week. We worked with one of our sister companies, Woodlawns, out here, and they've been absolutely spectacular to be around, and looking forward to many more projects with them. So let's get started. Here in the front yard, we had a really just kind of overgrown area where there was a lot of weeds, not much turf here. So we came through, regraded this all, and Aaron Senchuk, one of our in-house landscape architects, actually drew this whole plan together, and it has just come out lovely. And I would say that, you know, as a landscaper, the architect, we're extremely happy with how this has turned out, and the homeowners couldn't be happier themselves. So to start, what we did is we came up here and we took a look at the architecture of the home, and we thought that we could just really accentuate a lot of these areas, especially this corner back here. But really the only thing in this whole landscape that was actually existing is just some of these mature boxwood hedges. Everything else we ripped out and replanted. And one of my favorite features of the front here is this just spectacular weeping whitebud that we got. We've had this in our yard for so many years, and when I saw this, I knew it would be a perfect cascading feature right there at the corner to kind of hide that back there. But the only other existing plant is a massive climbing hydrangea back there. So what we're planning on doing is we're going to train that up around the house, and we're going to prune it around the windows. So in the spring, when the redbud's flowering, you're going to get these nice white flowers, and then as those flowers go away, the climbing hydrangea flowers are going to take over in essence. So that's what we're planning on doing right there to really just make that a standout entrance, as well as the oak tree alley that we're trying to grow right here. We brought these beautiful white oaks in from southern Michigan, and they're 6-inch caliper swamp white oaks. And really what we're trying to do is, over time, we're trying to get these to intermingle up top and kind of create a nice tunnel, or an alley as we like to call it, through this nice driveway right here. And then after we do nice crushed gravel for the driveway, level it out and compact it, it's going to make a real elegant entrance. There's no doubt about it. As we're going around here, we did use some of the other existing plant material on site, like the St. John's wort here, that really does great in amassing. And the idea of this is to really make a beautiful corner entrance as you're rounding this corner here with a beautiful stewardia that we've been utilizing a lot recently. It just has that beautiful foliage on its bark, and then the fall color is just spectacular. So a tree that should honestly be used a lot more. Now, as we're rounding this corner, this was a lot more existing plant material that we really just reworked, like these azaleas here, the privets. And then the homeowner really wanted to keep this spectacular garden that she did herself, for herself as her hobby. We really wanted to take that feel and really translate it around the property, as you'll see once we get to this back berm here. I think something really nice to point out here in Northport is, as you look at all this old stonework, a lot of what you're seeing is early 1900s construction. So it's really cool to see and actually get to match that in some of our projects that we do out here. And it's usually some of the most striking masonry you see, even though it can be pretty simplistic. It's beyond beautiful. So as we're planting this in the fall, we're really planning this to be a beautiful self-generating garden in the next 3 years. And that's what we're planning on doing for these clients over the next 3 years, is staying heavily involved with them. They understand that when you're doing a big garden such as this, it's not just you're not one and done. It's an ever-developing piece of art. So there's going to be plants in here that they were just going nuts over, like the foxglove, for instance. But with the foxglove being a biennial, needing to self-seed itself to kind of keep going, they might find that that might not be their favorite plant, and they might want to switch to something like maybe the Joe Pye plant might end up being their favorite plant. So they understand that some things they really wanted to work may not work, and other things they never expected to work might be their favorite thing. So that's why we like to stay involved with our clients and just keep developing these gardens until it's really dialed in for something they want. But they have the understanding that this is a living piece of art that will always be developing, so it's never truly done. But as we're coming up through here, we have a lot of ferns, we have bellflower, northern sea oats, you know, a bunch of different rudbeckia, like I said before, eupatropium or Joe Pye weed. And we also have just, you know, we have some aronia to kind of set a foundation, some dogwoods, obviously this weeping hemlock that's gorgeous. And far down the way, we have more foundation plants like a Chamaecyparis and Shasta viburnum. The real inspiration for this garden just came through that our clients are very elegant, but they're also a very let your hair loose kind of people. So we wanted to find something that matched that elegance, but also kind of, you know, hit their fun side of their personality, and found something that could truly accentuate their personality and bring their home out front where you can see the lake. And they have a lot of boats that come in out here, and they like to go out there, and they just want something beautiful to look at and be like, that's our home. That was our intention behind the design, and I believe Aaron nailed that. But as you go through this property, there's just so many accentuating features with the flowers we use, the annual bed up top, and all these groupings of hydrangeas that were existing back here that we repurposed. So this is heading up towards the other end of the berm. We came through here and we planted, yet again, same perennial mix through here. We did switch to a little bit more sumac on this hillside to help stabilize it. You can see here on the board, a lot of hellebore, a lot of different asters, and then an Osage orange per the client request. And then this is where we like to repurpose the rest of our privets. They really like this hedge. It's a really hardy plant. You can put it through all sorts of stuff and they'll come back and thrive. So we're gonna, you know, hedge our bets on these privets, prune them back, and, you know, get them into a great condition where they're just underneath that windowsill for a nice hedge that follows our walking path right here. And as you look down, that's the viburnum and Chamaecyparis I was mentioning, with everything else we planted. A lot of the existing ferns, yet again, foxglove, a lot of northern sea oats, as I mentioned before, and a few different types of cultivars of daisies as well in the mix, just to add some nice color texture to it. So at the other end of the property, what we did is we created this small garden bed right here to help hide a lot of the utilities and the golf course behind me. So we came through and added a great mixture of arborvitaes, yews, yet again more asters, even some weigela and some daisies as well, to really add a nice pop here at the corner. So as they're pulling into their garage, this is the last thing they see, and it's just a striking feeling. But with the birch and the native plants right here and the ferns and this birch, this really ends the property very well. As we walk up here, once we get this gravel all spread out, as this project is still being completed, this will really help tie everything together, especially once we compact everything and leave for a stunning entrance, especially once we get this last oak tree planted down the way, make sure everything's straightened up, and get our Vinco over here. And that'll be another great job done by Drost.